Most people who start a business fail, not because they lacked effort, but because they never understood what a business actually is. They work harder than anyone around them and still end up broke. Marco made that exact mistake, and what happened next changed everything he thought he knew. Marco is 23 years old. He sells handmade sandwiches from a small stall at the corner of Elm Street Market. He wakes up at 5 every morning. He buys fresh bread, slices the vegetables himself, wraps every sandwich by hand. By 8, he's at the stall. By 9, people are already lining up. He is busy, constantly busy. But after 3 months, something doesn't add up. He counts his cash at the end of Tuesday. He sold 40 sandwiches at $3 each. That's $120. He smiles. Then he looks at his notebook. Bread, $18. Fillings, $31. Packaging, $9. The stall rent for the day, $20. His travel, $4. He stares at the page. He made $6 for 12 hours of work. He sits down on his stool and doesn't move for a long time. An older man named George sets up a fruit stall beside him every day. George has been at this market for 22 years. He notices Marco's face. "Rough day?" George asks. Marco shows him the notebook. George looks at it slowly. Then he asks Marco one question. "What do you think you're doing here, son?" Marco blinks. "Selling sandwiches?" George shakes his head. "No. Tell me what a business actually is." Marco opens his mouth, then closes it. He has no answer. George picks up an orange from his own stall and holds it up. Imagine this orange is a problem. Somebody is thirsty, hungry, needs vitamin C. The orange solves that problem. You grow it, you bring it here, you charge more than it cost you to bring it. That gap, that difference is what keeps you alive. He sets the orange down. A business is nothing more than solving a problem for someone and capturing enough value from that solution to survive and grow. That's it. Everything else is details.
Marco looks at his sandwiches differently now. People don't just want a sandwich. They want to not be hungry during a busy workday. They want something fast, filling, and good. That's the problem he solves. He never thought about it that way, but there's still the math problem. George leans over again. Your costs are eating you alive because you haven't decided what your business actually is yet. Right now, you're just a very tired person making food. That lands hard. Marco spends that evening rethinking everything. He realizes he's been focused on making sandwiches, not on running a sandwich business. He maps out every cost. He renegotiates with his bread supplier for a bulk rate. He cuts 2 sandwich options that nobody was ordering. He raises his price by 50 cents and adds 1 premium option at $5. 2 weeks later, he sold the same 40 sandwiches, but now he walks home with $31 instead of $6. Same stall, same street, same Marco. Completely different result, because now he understands what he's actually doing. Marco wasn't failing because he was lazy. He was failing because he was confusing activity with business. Most people who struggle in business make the same mistake. They focus on the doing and forget to think about the structure underneath it. A business isn't just work. It's a system designed to solve a real problem and generate more value than it costs to run. Here's the simplest definition of a business you'll ever hear. A business is an organized effort to solve a problem for people in exchange for money in a way that creates more value than it costs to operate. The core formula looks like this. Revenue minus costs equals profit. Marco brought in $120. His costs were $114. His profit? $6. That's not a business. That's a very exhausting hobby. A healthy small food business typically targets a profit margin of 15 to 30%. Marco was running at 5%. Once he fixed his cost structure and pricing, he jumped to 26%. Same product, smarter system. Every business, whether it's a sandwich stall, a software company, or a clothing brand, lives or dies by this one equation. Not understanding what a business actually is might be the most expensive mistake an entrepreneur ever makes. People spend months building things, a product, a brand, a following, without ever asking whether the numbers underneath support survival. They confuse momentum with progress. They confuse busyness with profitability. And by the time they realize the structure is broken, they've already burned their savings, their energy, and sometimes their confidence. Knowing this concept gives you something most entrepreneurs never have: clarity. You stop reacting and start designing. You stop grinding blindly and start building intentionally. Because at the end of the day, the difference between a struggling business and a thriving one is never just hard work. It's whether the person running it truly understands the game they're playing. Grab a pen right now. Write down one problem your business or business idea actually solves for people. Then write your 3 biggest costs underneath it. Just those 2 things. That single exercise will show you more about your business than a month of random effort ever could. If this hits home, send this video to one person who's grinding hard but not seeing results. They need Marco's story more than they know. Next video, we follow Marco as he learns why some customers never come back. You won't want to miss it.